Hey everyone, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. Love me, I know you do. Anyway, welcome to this very special live stream. This is going to be awesome because I have two very special guests with me, two really close friends of mine, and two people you guys should be supporting as well. I have Adeptus Adamaris with me. She is a professional artist from TTS. She did the art that you see on the screen before you. I also have Wargamer Girl with me, Miranda herself.
Hey.
I took her away from the front lines just for a little bit. I promised I would give her back. Anyway, how are you guys doing?
Well, doing all right here. Just, I guess we were hanging out a little bit before the chat and realizing how many people were here waiting to hear this discussion. So, I don't know. Let's see how this goes.
I am excited and ready to go. I've been waiting since it was announced on. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, let's do this.
I honestly think a lot of people were waiting. Like, I had a consistent 30 people waiting for the start of this for so long. Okay, so
The wait is over.
the topic today. Why don't we want women to be Space Marines? Now, let me pose this question to the audience as well. Would you guys want to see female Space Marines? If you're saying yes, well, you're wrong. And if you're saying no, you're right.
Better not be divisive there, Alexis.
I know. I am direct, and I got this. No, but we're going to be covering the lore, as well as business perspectives, and what else are we going to be covering? Just why it's a bad idea?
Well, I mean, I think there's a few aspects to discuss. I mean, one of them would be, why is it that people want it? And if you were to explore that, what that would even particularly look like and what that might mean for the lore. I think those are worth talking about.
Yes, I agree. So, what do you say we just jump right into it? I want to explain the brief history of female Space Marines that were, quote-unquote, canon in 40K. This goes back to 1988. The GW was first starting up. Black Library wasn't even really a thing yet. And this first started off with a WSD comic, which I already forgot the name of. And apparently my stream is loading, so I really hope it's still working. Anyway, a WSD comic which brought us an article called The Sisters of Purification, a Space Marine chapter of women. Now, first off, this is not canon. It hasn't been canon since the 80s. In fact, when they recently rewrote all of Rogue Trader back in 2017, it was not even mentioned. I read through the entire thing. Not one mention of a female Astartes in it at all. So, right off the bat, we have something going against us. And I'm playing the devil's advocate. I'm going to be the one saying that it could happen.
Okay. Now, this book that you're talking about, that what did you say, WSD put it out?
Yes, it was a magazine way back in the 80s that took all sci-fi universes, got the okay from GW, and this was back when GW was still doing, hey, look at the fun-looking orcs wearing clown costumes.
When they were still signing Manowar to their record label and stuff? Yeah,
Yep.
They were kind of all over the place.
But Alexis, what about that model the Rogue Trader had of a lady Space Marine?
Well, upon further research, and as you guys know, I've actually done a video on the Rogue Trader series of models. And I've looked all the way through the Epic line as well as Battlefleet Gothic. The only time a woman appears in power armor, and I want to put this out there, it is a woman in power armor. It is not a Space Marine. And if you guys know anything about the Rogue Trader or any type of RP system for Warhammer 40K, or you know just brief knowledge about the lore, you will know that anybody can put on power armor. This is not a thing. Like, this is not a thing that's exclusive to Space Marines. This woman from, I think it was a 1991 line, was strictly a female that was wearing power armor. This was not, however, a Sister of Battle. This was just like a ganger represented as in power armor. That's it. So,
Okay.
I really wanted to put that out there because a lot of people point to that model and go, look, it's canon. That's not a female Astartes.
Just a, like, almost an Imperial Guard soldier in power armor equivalent type of thing?
Of course.
I see.
It's something more like Inquisitors and stuff can wear that as well, so it's like, well, Inquisitors aren't Space Marines. So,
No, that actually, you bring up a fair point. In a recent comic called Will of Iron, we got to see Inquisitor Sabathiel in Indominus Terminator armor, or Aegis Terminator armor. Aegis Terminator armor is exclusive for the Grey Knights. This Inquisitor, however, had it, and she could still pilot it. Now, I want to stress this again, too. To use Terminator armor, you do not need a black carapace. In fact, it's actually hooked up to the back of your neck, and it's a lot slower than power armor. The original purposes for Terminator armor was actually more of just an exosuit to walk around in Space Hulks. It was meant for humans. It has to be retrofitted for Astartes.
Oh, no kidding. That's neat.
Yeah. In fact, if you play Dawn of War 2, and I know everybody's going to be like, haha, insert Blood Raven meme here. Ha ha ha, they stole it. The Blood Ravens have never actually stolen anything. Get that meme out of your head, GW. You need to create better memes. Anyway, in that, when a Space Hulk actually does appear, the Blood Ravens have to go aboard the ship where they find hundreds of suits of Terminator armor, which they can only retrofit some of them for their first company. So there's a little tidbit of lore for you. They had to retrofit found Terminator armor from a Space Hulk to make it for Space Marines themselves.
Okay. So, I mean, when do you suppose, and maybe the audience even has a better sense of it here, but when did this question of having Lady Space Marines, like, come up? How long has that been a request?
Ever since a fat nerd was lonely.
Well, so were the Sisters of Battle created in response to that, or are they separate?
The Sisters of Battle came out in the early 90s. There were models of Sisters of Battle prior to that, but they didn't come out as a cohesive force until like the early 90s. But they weren't made in response to. They were made because, goth girls in power armor is awesome.
It's metal AF, as it were.
Yes, it fits the grim dark aesthetic. It's a gothic art style, and it looked more appropriate. In fact, their original design of Sisters of Battle was to fight right alongside Space Marines.
that's like a thing that I would like to kind of point or bring to focus. Is a lot of people that try to bring up wanting female Space Marines kind of seem to forget that, well, Sisters of Battle exist, and they are kind of like the female counterpart to them, are they not?
Yes, and as stated by Malcador the Sigillite in one of the first 5 Horus Heresy books, I cannot remember which one it is, so forgive me, the Sisters of Silence are supposed to be the equivalent of Space Marines. And if you look at the Sister of Silence artwork, they are about 7'6". They stand shoulder to shoulder with Space Marines, and in all of the books that they have ever been in, they have killed Space Marines just as easy as Space Marines have killed other Space Marines. So it stands to reason that we don't need female Space Marines. We need more representation of Sisters of Silence, more named characters for Sisters of Battle.
I would like to actually add on to that, because I do actually kind of get annoyed when people are like, oh my gosh, we need female Space Marines. Well, what about Sisters of Battle? Meh. Because I see having female Space Marines is kind of like contributing to the really old trope of, where they're like, oh, we have this male character. Well, let's just
stick some lipstick on her and
slap some lipstick on it, and now it's a girl. When
It seems almost more of an appropriation than an equal footing.
Exactly, because like Sisters of Battle and Sisters of Silence are unique in their own way, yet they kind of are that. Like, there's like those. That's the female version. Supposed to be while Space Marines are kind of like the dude version, but they're not exactly. So they can still stand out and be unique in their own right.
Now, another thing that I want to throw under the bus is everybody's like, well, Space Marines are supposed to be like warrior monks. And I want to just throw this out there. Nuns and monks are almost interchangeable depending on gender. Like, they do the same things. Sorry to say that, but that is not a reasonable reason for saying, well, that can't be. Now, and this one is going to trigger scruffers, and I know it's going to get you. I know it's going to get you.
Oh, am I?
Gav Thorpe, when he had a normal woman say to an angel of death that maybe you should use the women too.
Yeah. That was in Ashes of Prospero.
Which completely killed that book for me.
I tried to keep reading after that point, but I could see so many times where he's trying to force in, like, OMG, look, these women can fight on like, the same side as men. They're so good. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with this.
Yeah, it seemed more like a forced equivalency instead of making women cool in their own right.
Well, yeah, because it's like, when you really try to make focus on that and be like, look, women are just as good. It doesn't come off like that. It comes off as they're saying, look, women are inferior and this is something special. And it's like, when you start really pointing it out and making a big deal about it is when that means it is something unique and not normal, which is saying that women are normally not equivalent. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm sure people come to it from a few different reasons. I mean, in your own game store experiences, then, do you find that the question comes up a lot? Like, yes. Do most people seem to care, or is it more of an internet thing?
So the question does come up quite a bit, and the argument always goes, well, the lore suggests that female Space Marines can't happen because of this, that, and the other thing. When the only actual thing that says that they can't is from a 1980s White Dwarf. Like, let's be real here. None of the codexes have ever said that they could not be female. Now, the reason that they are male is traditionalism. Space Marines are very, very, very focused on their chapter traditions. You mess with that even the slightest. Look at the Mechanicum. They go into a frenzy.
Well, I mean, that's kind of throughout all of 40K, right? I mean, the idea of that you can't advance technology beyond what already existed on data slates, and I know the Ecclesiarchy is very ceremonially bound as well, so I mean, that's pretty just consistent across all chapters and factions, I would think.
For the most part, there is a type of consistency, but 40K is a fantasy setting. Like, it's a sci-fantasy, but it's still a fantasy setting, and things change all the time. The introduction of the Primaris Marines, Guilliman, even the Age of Strife bringing in the Sisters of Battle have all been revolutionary changes throughout the evolution, I guess, of GW.
Well, hold up, though. It's like, with change, like, that can be, of course, change happens, and it can be a good thing, but there are kind of, like, set rules with Space Marines, and changing it right now in kind of, like, this politically charged environment, it's not going to be done for the sake of storytelling, but it will be kind of done in the name of politics.
Oh, so, without a doubt.
Yeah, so, like, kind of shifting, like, the universe's focus from actually, like, storytelling to having, like, a current era politics is going to make it lose its sight on what it is, and really just kind of become a political cartoon. You know, like, those, like, little political cartoons you see in, like, the newspaper or whatever? That's pretty much all it's going to be, and it's going to be dated.
It's going to be very dated.
Well, I mean, the reason is very important in that regard. So, that actually brings me to a little bit of another question, because I've read a little bit about it, but what Alexis, can you explain to me the process of what happens to a formerly human body when the gene seed is implanted in it and it becomes a space marine or an Adeptus Astartes?
Okay, so let's go way back to a time before they actually wrote this stuff down and were actually taking it seriously. Originally, the gene seed was called the Emperor's Seed, and it was made out of his stuff, let's
His
just
seed?
say. Yeah, it was his seed. But fast forward to when it actually is. Space Marines, their bodies are knocked unconscious, and they start implanting all of these different organs in them. Depending on the chapter, they might actually keep you awake during this process. Sedated, but awake. Which I don't know how they do in 40k, but apparently there is magic narthesiums that can keep your mind fully active and your body completely numb, but whatever, we're not even going to go into that. So the first thing that they start implanting into your body is something that makes your bones grow tougher, bigger, stronger. Your muscles growth increases, the implantation of a second heart, and implantation in your throat that allows you to, oh god, I can never remember what, no, the implantation in the throat is the gene seed, which actually just grows another gene seed. Why they don't grow that in fats on their reliquaries is beyond me, but whatever. Then they implant a few other organs which allow the Space Marine to spit acid, eat brains to regain knowledge. I'm not kidding about these either. Like,
This sounds horrible. This sounds like this entire transformation is horrible.
utterly useless is the term that I would actually would say. But I'll go into why it's useless in a minute. So once they implant all these organs, which take about 10 years to finally do all of the implantations, they then put them into the scout company and tell them to go to the front lines. In fact, go ahead of the front lines. We don't need to worry about our gene seed that we just put into an aspirant that we just spent 25 years trying to make. Oh, he died. Ah, damn it.
You have to
Anyway.
go harvest that again, right?
Whoops. We just gotta
Not
start
only-
over.
It's a young gene seed. They wasted it. But here's my main concern about Space Marines. Tactically, they are not worth it at all. Yes, a Space Marine can grab an enemy, rip his head off with one hand, crush his skull, eat his brain, gain all of his knowledge, spit it out at an enemy tank, melt the tank, kill every single person on the planet. But if one person just so happens to get a lucky plasma shot against him, just one Joe Schmo gets a lucky plasma shot against that Space Marine, he dies. And that is a huge investment lost. But GW doesn't really care about investments in their stories, since Titans are a thing.
Titans.
We're really more talking about like the concept of why female Space Marines aren't viable, not Space Marines in general, though.
I know,
It brings up another question, though, because, so here's my thought with what you all explained, because it sounds like, and Paul kind of mentioned it in the chat, like, almost worse than being impregnated by, like, an alien seed, with what you go through. So if you are, and just bear with me here, if you're thinking, oh, I would like female Space Marines because, you know, I really want that type of, I guess, equality is what they would be pushing for in their mind, why would you wish that on women? I mean,
Well,
why would you wish that on, like, a party you're trying to, like, say, no, I want representation. I want them to go through this horrible, painful, cruel process instead of being Sisters of Battle or Sisters of Silence, which I guess maybe, I don't know what their process is, but Sisters of Battle seem like a way more humane way to go.
let me explain the process of Sisters of Battle.
Oh,
Okay, so war happens on your planet. Oh, that sucks. Your parents died? Well, do you want to be cooler than Batman? Yes? Awesome. We're going to take you to the Scala Progenium. What is that? We're going to put you through rigorous military training for the next 10 to 15 years of your life. And if you survive, you get to become a neophyte of the Adeptus Sororitas. As a neophyte, you are granted the amazing honor of going and being a missionary, essentially. You're literally like one of the Mormons. You go, you knock on some heretic story like, hey, would you like to hear about the word of the Emperor? Except this time you have a bolter pointed at the enemy. And if they say no, you shoot them in the face. It's like a horrifying version of them. Then, after a few years of doing that, you're awarded your armor. And your armor is sacred because it's built just for you. It is amazing, and it is the best form of power armor, aside from Primaris Space Marine armor. We're not going to go into that. The best form of armor available. Now, you don't get your helmet. No. You have to earn that. So, if you are in the Order of our Martyred Lady, you are put into your armor, gifted your bolter, put into a battle sister squad. You go and murder in the name of the Emperor. You go and do your crusades, and then after a little bit, your sister superior goes, "Hey, chap, you know it'd be cool if we put a helmet on you, because I like you." So they give you a helmet. Then, after you're given the helmet, after a few years of battling with your helmet on, you are awarded the ability to to dye your hair white. I know, crazy, right? It's a sign of purity, okay? And it's very important. In fact, a lot of sisters don't wear their helmets at this point, but the smart ones keep it on and they become Celestians. As a Celestian, you're tasked with being a bodyguard. Now, granted, there are a lot of different paths that they can go, but I'm just going to talk about the ones that go to Celestian, then Canoness, then become badasses, because Canonesses are all badasses in their own rights. So they go and do that stuff. Now, some sisters go, you know what? I want to become the most pure ever. So they take off all of their armor, confess their sins, and are given a big-ass chainsaw called the Eviscerator. With this, they run naked into battle with their sisters right next to them, and if they survive, they have been given the Emperor's blessing. And they themselves are so mentally, trained at that point that they can shrug off wounds that would blow their arm off. They wouldn't even care. They are that badass. In fact, they are so powerful mentally and such zealots that they themselves can fend off demons of Slaanesh while in the warp, stuck together in a magic ball of souls, and then fused together and put into one sister to become Ethereal Stern, who then becomes a god-tier psyker and murders everything. In fact, the Inquisition is still hunting her. But she walks up to the Black Library, the doors open, Kikarath is just like, "Hey girl, do you want to check out some cool books?" And she's just like, "Golly gee willikers, yes I would. Yeah, come on in."
So
That's
TLDR, they don't need Gene Seed to be badass.
No, they're all badasses on their own.
Well, and it's just training and, self-determination and self-drive without the need of external organs, you're saying? Really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah. In fact, it makes them seem more badass because they don't have, "Hey, look, we're all Superman."
Well, that's another thing I would like to add on to that, because I even saw in the comments before the whole stream started, just people were talking about, oh, well, what about we could make Shield Maiden Space Marines? But I'm sitting here looking at Sisters of Battle well, why can't we have Sisters of Battle Shield Maiden design so they could match the Space Wolves? Because that's what I'm waiting for, those sister models with bated breath so I can make them into Shield Maidens and put them next to my Space Wolves. But
no.
My point is that I think Sisters of Battle can actually be just as creative as Space Marines with different theming and whatnot. They're just not quite given the credit enough to do that.
Well, they've had a metal line for so long that they haven't been able to be given the love of a Space Marine chapter, which has been on everything forever and is shoved down everybody's throat.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So it's when you kind of put them to the side like that, it's essentially I would see that advocating loyalist female Space Marines while putting Sisters of Battle to the wayside like that kind of sends this message that women on their own really aren't interesting or viable as an army, and so the male alternative has to be compromised and their themes discarded just to make space for women to be acceptable.
And I fully agree with that. Yeah, I mean, again, it just makes it sound more like an appropriation. So then, by that same token, you would not want to see the opposite. I know some people were mentioning it in the chat as well. Well, why not have men in the Sisters of Battle? Why not have,
that they're
female sisters? Are there? Well, I know there's Inquisitors. And but they're not specifically Sisters of Battle, are they?
Okay, so they're not exactly Sisters of Battle. They are the ecclesiarchal bodyguards, but they do have Crusaders, which carry a storm shield and a power sword, and they usually are men.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're pretty cool models, actually.
Yeah. So they can go. See, they have men in the sororitas in a kind of technical way.
But I guess like they're not technically Sisters of Battle.
No, they're ecclesiarchal bodyguards, but yeah.
Because it's like... go ahead.
I was going to say, well, they all just combine forces, though, and so they can be an effective army because they, from the sound of it, they actually just seem more accepting. So I don't know why everybody is all in love with Space Marines.
I mean, I actually love Space Marines, but I think I kind of like them sticking as just kind of male only. I don't see anything wrong with an army being like male only or female only. As long as
I mean,
it's
they're
just, like...
kind of. Sorry to interrupt. I was just gonna say they're kind of
ahead.
barely. They're not even like fully men. I mean, they can't breed. They're aliens essentially. I mean, you have removed the humanity from Space Marines, generally speaking.
Exactly.
From the sound of it, and so the idea of changing the gender just seems pretty arbitrary. And
yeah.
And that's where I again just take issue, or it just doesn't sound like there's any good reason for it, and the other options are far better.
Now, I fully agree with that. So, if you go back and read some of the Horus Heresy books, Space Marines aren't written as exactly manly men. Well, if you actually read them, they're kind of written to be almost homosexual, but I'm just saying. Anyway.
Spartan-like, as it were?
No, read Fulgrim. They're pretty,
Well, it's Fulgrim, though.
It's not
You
just...
have kind of scared me off reading most of the books at this point, Alexis. I'm not gonna lie.
Actually, Fulgrim is one of my favorite books, but read Master of Mankind if you're going to read a really, really, really good 40k book, or 30k book. Mm. But, that being said, Space Marines don't even see the concept of gender. They are so beyond human that they don't care. Like, there's a story of a Space Marine talking to a beautiful, highborn woman. Now, if this woman was talking to anybody else in the galaxy that wasn't a Space Marine, they would be all over her because she is a highborn, she has a lot of money, and she is amazing. Now, that being said, this woman is talking to the Space Marine. The Space Marine's having like an internal monologue, and he's just like, I know she's beautiful. I know that Gilliman wants us to interact with the humans again. And by the way, they refer to the humans, not this woman.
Right.
And I don't know the point of all of this. Like, what are you doing? What is this woman hoping to do with me? Like, I'm gonna go. I'm bored. And that's what the Space Marine does. He just leaves. And the woman's just like, what?
How rude.
She was hitting on him the whole time, and the Space Marine's just like, you're boring. I'm leaving.
Where's something I can go kill?
I think, like, yeah, even in some of the books, there is kind of this almost, like, childlike innocence when it comes to that sort of stuff with Space Marines, because they don't deal with that kind of stuff, and they don't have that kind of, like, drive, I guess, to, like, reproduce and stuff, so they seem to not get it at times.
Now, granted, Space Wolves are probably the exception to this rule because...
Yes.
I mean, let's look at Logan, for instance. He was a late Space Marine. So he did have a lot of partners before he became a Space Marine. Now, I'm not sure if he had any afterwards, but I could see the Space Wolves actually being the one exception to this. So that's just me.
But yeah, Space Wolves are a little bit special in that regard, I guess, because there's quite a few. Even like, oh my gosh, the Space Wolf Omnibus, like Ragnar had a crush on a chick. Oh gosh, I forget her name.
That's actually really cool. Like thinking
But
about
yeah.
that.
And there was actually even then he was like a bit of an inner monologue where he's like, I don't think women are inferior, but just that people, like normal humans, aren't as strong as we are. Like,
so is that them like reaching to connect to their former humanity? Do you think that's what that's being written to portray?
I could see it that way.
So, I mean, it doesn't even seem particularly as much sexually charged as much as, like, a human connection sort of design.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I've heard varying things about the different writers for these fictions, so I am speculating.
Yeah, that's another thing with the books, because there's so many different writers with different perspectives and different opinions on how what the lore should be. There's never, like, a entirely cohesive agreement. But, I had something to add to that, but then I just blanked out.
Well, while you blanked out, I'm just going to say this really quickly to the audience. If you guys would like to have your questions answered right now, we are collecting them in the chat, the live stream chat right now. But if you would like them answered right now, please use the super chat function. It goes a long way to actually helping out the channels and everything, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you. Anyway, back to this. Sorry, plug. I know.
Ugh, so shameless. It's like you're trying to make a living or something.
Ugh. How dare I? It's like I'm pouring myself out.
Oh, jeez.
Though I think, did we have like the disclaimer thing where we're talking about like loyalist female space marines and not like in general? Because say like Chaos can do whatever it wants and it's perfectly within like the lore and stuff to do that.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Chaos Space Marines, whatever. I mean, hell, Fabius Bile, like the writer of Fabius Bile, I asked him on Adeptus Podcastus before I left that. I just flat out asked him, I'm like, can Fabius Bile make female Astartes? Like female Chaos Space Marines? His response, yes, but why would he? And I was like, perfect. That's all I needed.
It's even like... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'll ask it.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, I think in the Black Crusade, like, RPG books, it even does specifically say, like, one of the mutations is, like, your Space Marine could be a female. Whoa!
Yeah, like, so, how would you notice underneath all of the armor and the helmet?
You don't.
Just like...
I mean, they're all gonna be bald anyway, as far as I can tell, and...
Like, the only thing I can think of is you just hear the Space Marine. Ah, my chest hurts.
Just has like their voices are so deep anyway, like just unnaturally deep, so it's just like a little less unnaturally deep.
Yeah.
So it seems like the general consensus in this immediate chat with the three of us is that they're just far better options when it comes to if you're wanting to play girls on the tabletop.
Well, I mean,
so then the other question comes up though is, the argument that what's the harm? Would you be angry if they suddenly start putting out models that had... I'm not sure how they'd look. I don't know if you're switching out the heads, if you're actually, like, giving them very voluptuous chests or what to make them seem like female Space Marines, but whatever that would look like, would that make you angry?
Well, at least as a Space Wolf player, say, like, if I wanted to buy Space Wolf models and then there's, like, okay, we only sell, like, the boxes, like, 50-50 male and female, I would be kind of annoyed. Because it's like my whole opinion where I don't want... If I want like female models and like cool female characters, I don't want to just have like someone grab Ragnar and just put some lipstick on him and be like, look, this is Ragnarina. She's so cool. I'd be like, no, don't do that.
We did get a super chat. Nubel, if you can grab that.
What's an in-universe reason for female Space Marines?
An in-universe reason. Okay, I can actually give a reason for this that I think most people would just be like, alright, if they did that, whatever. Here's the thing. So, Gilliman is finishing up epic battle of epicness and he's like flexing and the enemy tank is exploding because of sheer amazement. Anyway, after the battle, he congratulates one of his captains, slaps him on the ass and is just like, good job, chap. And the captain's helmet is all sorts of tattered and smashed up, so they remove it. And you look at the Astartes, and they're actually female. And Gilliman takes a step back, like, wait, what? And then he's like, why? I need to talk to Call about this. Goes to Belisari's Call, and Call is just like, yeah, I made a few of them females. I wanted to see if it could happen. It killed most of them, so there's only like 10. And I'd be okay with that. I'd be like, don't do it again, that was stupid. There you go.
The only thing, like, especially with Primaris Marines and stuff is I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm a little nervous about them because I could see them just like using that as an excuse as to why female Space Marines can exist, but then, like I said, it would be politically charged, it would be pushing Sisters of Battle to the side and saying that, like, women as their own army aren't good enough, like, we have to make it, like... It's almost like the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, like, controversy, where they made the Boy Scouts have to accept, like, both boys and girls, but the Girl Scouts is still, like, exclusively female. It's like, what are you saying, Girl Scouts isn't good enough?
So then to address that point, is that to say that were it not being pushed for what are seemingly the reasons it's being pushed for, would you care less than if you saw just like, say, mid-90s or 10 years from now when all this nonsense kind of sets aside and they come out with female Space Marines, would it just not be a big deal then if it didn't seem to have a political motivation to it?
If it didn't have a political motivation to it, I still would be like, well, what about my Sisters of Battle? Like, do we have female Astartes for Sisters of Battle? Like, I wouldn't want them included in the Space Marine roster.
Yeah, it's like just... It's because there's already, like, pre-existing female things that are kind of, like, just on the level of Space Marines. So it's like, why would you need to do that? Just make some Sisters of Silence actually interesting. Make some Sisters of Battle interesting, and then that would be a better alternative, I'd say.
More interesting, or do you not think the Sisters of Battle are currently interesting?
I love my Sisters of Battle.
I'm not talking to you, Alexis.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
I actually like the Sisters of Battle. The thing is, I don't like how the old models looked. So when I was when I was first getting into 40k and I was looking at all the different armies, and everyone was like, "Look at Sisters of Battle, they're so cool." And then everyone described them to me. I was like, "Oh, they sound awesome," and then I like the models, and I'm like, "Nah, I'm okay."
They're a touch masculine. I think I just have a really soft spot for them. Actually, just I don't know. I think they're neat. They fit that very heavy metal theme. Like, I don't know how old you are or anything, but if you remember like the heavy metal movies from the 80s, it just feels like they belong there.
So we did just get a super chat really quickly.
Okay.
Would we get Brothers of Battle? No, that's already been addressed. The Sisters of Battle must remain female because that was the agreement by the Ordo Hereticus during the end of the Age of Strife. Done. Moving on. There's actual lore for that. No is the answer. Move on.
Oh, I think I know that piece, right? Because it was like, no man shall bear arms or something like that in the ecclesiarchy.
Yep.
And so they're like, well, how about women? Technicalities, bitch. So,
well, the other thing is, like, the Ordo Hereticus actually backed that up. They were like, yeah, they're not men, and we're the Inquisition. We know what we're talking about. We outrank you. And we did just get another super chat.
Yeah, I was about to say. Do Hospitaller have similar rules as Sisters of Battle? And are there female custodies?
There are no female custodies as of yet, but the process to make a custodian can actually happen to anybody because it's literally, ta-da, you're a magical custodian, and there's no actual implantation.
Probably basically Sisters of Silence, though.
Yes, but we're not going to talk about that. The Ordo Hospitallers are actually just part of the Sisters of Battle and must all be female. And still abide by the rules of the company, of the order that they're with. Yeah.
well, all right then.
Yeah, there we go. Now, what I want, this would be good, really good representation. Like, Guilliman is somehow losing a fight. Hard to believe, I know, but Guilliman is somehow losing a fight. And instead of, like, calling in more Space Marines, the Order of a Martyred Lady come in and actually save his ass and show just how powerful the Sisters of Battle are. That, I think, would be a hell of a lot cooler than going, hey, look, we made a Marine with boobs.
It's also a lot nicer than wearing their blood.
That story is not canon anymore.
So glad.
It's not?
No, they took it out.
Because it was really bad.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's pretty bad.
no.
A lot of Matt Ward's writing was actually taken out of canon. It's really funny. Also, we did get another super chat.
Okay, good. But when we're done, I have to bring up a thing about Matt Ward. But yeah, go ahead.
How would Gilliman react to meeting a chapter of Loyalist trader stock during his crusade?
Loyalist trader stock, probably. That's a tough call. I think I can make I would have to get like Remlays in for that one. That one's honestly, you'd probably just purge them. Like, I'll be real with you, you'll probably purge them. You guys are too dangerous. Sorry, bang, got him. Or send him on a penitence crusade.
So is there still a part in canon about a Sister of Battle actually turning to chaos?
Yes.
Is that
Mario Sabathiel?
I actually really hate that story because that was one of the coolest things I really liked about the Sisters of Battle, were that they were beyond the reach of chaos. I know you're a bit of a Slash fan, but
I voiced Mario Sabathiel. I like her.
Yeah, I know.
I see what this is. You actually just hate me.
Plot twist. We're here just to make you look bad.
It was supposed to be a particular strength of the Sisters of Battle that they couldn't be reached by chaos. To me, it seemed like it was a very powerful thing, and that they could kind of, I don't know, resist the warp, I guess.
They actually
But
can.
it seemed like that was pretty... What's that?
They actually can resist the warp. Like, their faith is so strong, it can protect them against not only gunfire, but literal demons. But everything in 40k, everything can be corrupted. That's the scary part of 40k.
Yeah, it sort of breaks out like, I don't know, hives or something.
Also, like, it's choice. Like, if maybe that individual was just actually interested in doing it, they can just choose to do it rather than being manipulated. It's like a willingness of conversion rather than being tricked.
Also, I do want to point this out. The only other character in all of 40k to willingly give their soul to chaos was Mariel Sabathiel. She wasn't corrupted. She gave her soul to chaos, like Horus did.
Oh. Though, before I forget the Matt Ward thing, I just wanted to say, like, if they do push for this political stuff, and actually say, like, theoretically if they do female space marines or something, I would say that it's going to be remembered down the line like a Matt Ward thing. Like, it's going to be when we're old and our kids or other small children have gotten into the lore, they're gonna look back and be like, wow, that was stupid. Like, they'll see through, like, the whole political stuff, but they're not even gonna have the context of it and just be like, wow, that was stupid, and just laugh about it. It's gonna be a joke.
Like CS:GO?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I actually picked up his book once at like a used bookstore, and I had no idea. I couldn't finish it. It was so bad.
We did get 2 super chats. One saying, good conversation. You make me interested in Sister of Battle lore. Vulcan lives. Stomp, stomp.
Yeah.
And the
oh
other
my gosh. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
The other one saying, can we at least have female squads? Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah, I concur.
I can see that.
Why? Because nobody cares, and that's fine.
Well, like, here's one of the biggest questions. Alright, nobody complains about mixed-sexed armies like the Tau or the Eldar or the Dark Eldar or Chaos Imperial Guard or any of the factions in 40k that are mixed gender. They don't care about them. They don't care about the all-female army being the Tyranids, where their only male is the Trevagon, who's known as the Broodfather, and the Swarmlord, who's always referred to as a male. They also don't care about that there's an agender, an asexual army in 40k, which is the Orks. Nobody cares about that. But for some reason, it has to be Space Marines because they're the main characters.
Well, yeah, they're the most popular. That's probably really the only reason, because they're the most popular.
Well, exactly. That's why it's politically charged. It's because they're the main face, so the main face has to be changed in order to fit whatever agenda people are trying to push for right now. They don't give a shit about Orks. Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, and if GW has enough trouble sculpting ladies in the way you suggest Scruffles, then maybe Lady Marines wouldn't look so good anyway. So.
Well, I mean, a lot of their new female sculpts do actually look really good. Like, Marathi looks really good. And...
I do have a Greyfax, Inquisitor Greyfax. She looks amazing. So.
Yeah, I got her and Celestine and the Olsen twins. They're sitting on my desk. I love them.
It's not the Olsen twins, it's the Doublemint twins.
Olsen twins.
Oh, we're gonna fight about this.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there was a super chat.
Oh.
Give Sisters of Battle dinosaurs, yes or no?
Hell yeah! I say, like, just like there could be a what do you call it? Shield Maiden, Sisters of Battle. I'd say let's do like a whole like theme for like salamanders, like some sort of African tribe. That'd be awesome.
Wait a minute. Dinosaurs? I thought this was like a pseudo sci-fi at least. Why do we have dinosaurs now? Why is everybody talking about dinosaurs?
Alright,
awesome. Okay, lizard dragons? Dragons.
Let me just tell you this. Dinosaurs are actually common in 40k. In fact, there's rules for them in Dark Heresy.
Wait, what?
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. In fact, there's an entire Eldar sect that rides dinosaurs called the Exodites. Kroot come really close to riding dinosaurs with their Narlox.
Oh yeah, they do kind of look like that. That's true.
Yeah.
But
Also,
dinosaurs?
Imperial
So they're
Guard.
extinct now, but we've resurrected them by the 41st millennium? Is that...
No. There's just an infinite possibility of worlds.
Oh, that's right, because you're beyond Terra, so... Okay.
Yeah.
And dinosaurs.
The other thing is, Imperial Guard had dinosaur models. They rode, like, these stupid-looking giraffe dinosaur things.
Yeah, I watched Dino Riders as a kid. I think I can see what that looks like.
Yeah.
I thought that's like the dinosaur with the long neck that eats like tall trees.
Well, it's...
Brachiosaur? The Patasaur? The Diplodocus? What do you want here?
I don't know.
Fun fact, my brother is legitimately a paleontologist.
Okay,
okay,
you know
I was
what?
like, I don't know anything about dinosaurs.
That's amazing. We did get another super chat.
Would you be interested in the Star Wars / Warhammer tabletop story campaign tournament for a couple months similar to Fate of Conor?
Hopefully it's not like the Fate of Connor, because that was completely forgotten immediately. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Like Star Wars and Warhammer together, or like...
Huh.
I'm confused.
I feel like that would be very opposite if Star Wars, we'll just stick with original trilogy here, is about like hope. What the hell is the 41st millennium about?
No, that there is only war.
Polar opposites.
Oh my
we got
god.
another super chat.
Oh yeah, that was another one. Why not make orcs into green space babes?
Have you seen like... Oh my gosh, I forget Blood Bowl.
Yeah, Blood Bowl's commercial, the orc cheerleaders.
The orc cheerleaders.
Let's not go into that. That is disgusting.
Yeah,
But then it starts to be a question of what's more insulting, not having female orcs or having them. So.
I mean, if
don't bring them
orcs,
back, I pick you.
if orcs believe it, it comes true.
Oh no.
I feel like orcs would probably just want human cheerleaders.
Like,
You wanted different race cheerleaders, we'll give you different race cheerleaders!
Hey, they're accepting to all, I think.
I mean,
They're very open-armed. They're the only optimists in 40k, right?
They actually are. They are the only optimists. It's hilarious.
It's kind of what makes them pretty cool.
The orcs. There's a quote from the Eldar about the orcs that I really like. It's we Eldar have seeked questions that an orc would never seek. We have damned our entire race, and they live in blissful ignorance.
It's true though.
Like, orcs are mad happy. Like, they're just happy. Can I kill
Yeah, no,
it?
they've got some great stories to them. So.
Yep, I still have nightmares from the orc cheerleaders.
Oh no.
I was at a game, or like the game store I normally go to, and I know like a lot of people that work there, and they were talking about how they were playing on because you can play it like on a console, and so one of them was playing Orks, and he kept like winning or whatever, so he'd get like the cheerleaders to show up. He just kept really messing with the other person because of the cheerleaders.
I'd leave.
So painful because it plays it every time and you can't skip it.
Oh, you can't skip it? Oh.
So, I think we successfully covered, like, all of what we needed to cover about female Space Marines. Would we agree?
I think so. I said the majority of like the stuff I think I wanted to say. So,
I mean, maybe everybody can just sort of say their little nutshell closing.
Well,
I wanted to address whatever questions.
I wanted to bring up the questions. That was the thing.
okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now,
So if we want to like summarize stuff, we'll do that at the end after the questions.
I do just want to say this right now before anybody gets like offended by the stuff that we said, because we know you're offended. First off, none of us are against the idea of you converting a Space Marine into a female Space Marine to play for your homebrewed chapter. None of us are against that. We'll shoot it just the same that we would shoot any other Marine on the board.
Because we believe in equality.
Equality of cannon fodder.
Well, no, for the most part, you don't care. It's just whenever it becomes like, oh, well, we need this. And then the question is, well, why do we need this? And then the reasons that come up just don't seem particularly strong. And if you have your own personal taste on it, then yeah, that's fine. Nobody should begrudge you that.
Like fanfiction and like all that kind of stuff is perfectly fine. It's like have fun and creativity, but we're talking about what the company is doing, or what if the company did, what would that imply?
Yeah. So, with that, I believe that we can let Nooble talk about the questions. Well, ask the questions. Oh, God. All right, we just got 2 super chats.
Oh, gosh, and they're great. They're great.
Why would fungus have boobs? To be the greatest fungus among us.
With the emergency of the warp star in the sky and a Tau god appearing, would we see a new orc god, something like Torque, orc god of speed?
Torque would actually be cool, but I would really like to see Daka, the orc god of bullets.
Sounds appropriate.
Or the reemergence of Gorkamork. So, alright, what do we got for questions, Nooble?
Alright, we got a lot of questions today.
Oh dear.
Would it be fair to say that Adeptus Sororitas are to Astartes as Sisters of Silence are to Custodes?
Yes.
That's how I see them.
Actually, yes, that is a perfect example.
Next question?
Yeah.
If the whole point is about putting women in positions of power, wouldn't female Space Marines be a demotion from Inquisitors?
Actually, yes. Yes, they would.
How is it? Are you saying like the Inquisitor becomes a Space Marine?
I assume so. Like it's like pulling the woman away from becoming like a sister battle, then eventually becoming an Inquisitor, to becoming a Space Marine, and that's it.
So a divergent path that doesn't go as far.
Yeah, because it's like the... it's kind of like the way that I see in business how it's going is a lot of companies are like, oh my gosh, we need female CEOs, so we need to give them a leg up and help them be better. Even though it's basically saying that women on their own can't become CEOs without having help. Like, so yeah, it would be kind of a demotion because that's kind of how I would see it. Does that make sense?
I think it does.
I hope that makes sense.
We're just gonna go with yes.
It's okay, Scruffers. We'll give you head pats.
Yay!
Next question.
Yep.
Isn't there a woman who pilots Terminator armor, and doesn't she boss around standard Space Marine?
Can you
They're
repeat
separate,
that?
aren't they?
isn't there a woman who pilots Terminator armor, and doesn't she boss around standard Space Marine?
Yes, that's Inquisitor Sabathiel in Will of Iron.
So she's like the only one, though, right?
As far as canon-wise, she is the only Ordo Malleus Terminator Inquisitor to be a woman.
And Termo Inquisitors, oh gosh, I feel so ignorant right now, can boss around the Space Marines in general?
Inquisition can boss around Space Marines as much as they want.
Especially since they have like Deathwatch and stuff with them, and they kind of tell what the Deathwatch squads what to do.
That's Ordo Xenos that have those.
Oh.
Ordo Malleus have Grey Knights, which is even scarier.
Boss around the Grey Knights too, don't they?
Yes. The only ones that have to that they can't boss around is the Custodians, because the Custodians don't care. They can technically order around the Custodians, but the Custodians are usually just like, no. And the Inquisitor's like, but why not? No. But every other Space Marine chapter, Imperial Guard, Sister of Battle, everything needs to listen to Inquisitors.
Fair enough.
Oh, super chat. Slanesh made female Space Marines?
Technically, what are they called? There was a female Space Marine, sort of.
Slanesh does as Slanesh pleases.
Yeah, but that's also Chaos Space Marines, so we don't go into that.
Yeah, because Chaos can do whatever it wants.
Yeah.
So it's like, isn't it kind of like being both is a pleasing thing to Slanesh, since Slanesh can be both male and female, or is referred to as either or?
It really depends. Speaking of Chaos Sisters, have you read Heart and Soul? Yes, I have, and I love it. Glandhounds, thank you. That's what they were called. And those were made by Fabius Bile. Anyway, moving on. Questions?
Alrighty. We only pull through extinction by adapting, yeah? So what is up with cults? What is up with cults so strongly against fixing their aging flashlights? I believe that's in regards to the Imperium never advancing.
The Imperium actually does advance, and Belisarius Call is a good example of that. Thank you, Brain. There we go.
I thought the whole point of why they don't change stuff is because at this point, the Imperium has lost so much knowledge on how to make things. They just find blueprints they don't particularly understand. They just know how to, recreate it, or rather follow the instructions. So in trying to change something like that, you can kind of, fuck it up pretty badly. So I think that's why they just become so strict about it.
Well, they're also terrified of AI.
That too.
Is that related to the machine spirit? Because I thought the machine spirit was pretty against the advancing of, using anything outside of the normal technology.
The machine spirit is an interesting thing because it's both theoretical and actual at the same time. But that being said, it's mostly because the Imperium doesn't have the knowledge on how to make that technology anymore, and the more knowledge that they add to their collective knowledge pools, the more is taken away by a technovirus that hit them.
Oh.
So the more they add, the more they lose.
Got a super chat. What if Imperium got a machine that can make SDCs? Isn't that the Omnicopia?
Yes.
So what you're saying is that already happened?
Yeah. If you thought of it, it probably has already happened in 40k.
But is it canon is the real question nowadays.
Oh, yeah, that's very true.
I mean, imagine how long 40k's been around, and then how many people have written stuff, and how much of that stuff has been written over and over and over.
And how much of it contradicts each other.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, next question. What do we got? Let's get a good one.
Don't they usually give scouts a sniper?
Usually, but sometimes they put him with a knife and say, go get him, boys.
Good luck, fellas.
Good luck, future of our chapter. Oh, the entire 10th company died. We should probably run from this battle. No, commit the first company to it. Sir, are you sure those were all our veterans? It'll be a good idea. Alright, they killed them too.
I need to hear more of like your history, your rendition of the history of 40k. I feel like I would learn so much from you, Alexis.
You know, a lot of people have said that they want me to do like abridged versions of 40k history, and I kind of want to do it, like really badly.
I support this idea. I think everyone in here supports this idea.
I think it'd be hilarious.
Oh boy, we're getting a lot of super chat.
I'm okay with this. I'm not going to complain. You guys keep supporting my channel because I kind of need it. Nova's going to be expensive.
With gene stealers able to affect and spread on Eldar similar to humans, do you think we'll see models for Gene Eldar and their avatar gene stealers soon?
No. But it would be an awesome conversion. Like, I'm actually going to buy the Forge-World avatar of Cain and convert him to be a gene stealer using Hive Tyrant bits.
Ooh.
Cool. I don't know.
Sounds very alien.
Oh, it is. It's so cool because he's like molten lava / Tyranid. It's amazing.
Another super chat. Gorkin Mork versus Korn. Who wins?
Gorkamork. Because Karn is bad for you. It actually passes through your entire system.
It's also full of chemicals.
It's actually only if you don't chew it.
Who chews corn?
Oh yeah. Next question.
Hold on 1 second. I was saving this one because I don't know this question. Anyway, how many organs do they stuff into the chest cavity?
I think it's something like 18. I actually forget because I kind of lost interest after the one where they literally eat brains. And then they're like, these guys won't be corrupted at all. Eat that Chaos Space Marine's brain. Don't you think that has a little bit of Nurgle's rot on it? Eat his brain. Okay.
I think at least in the deathwatch, don't you have to like roll a willpower or something to not get corrupted when you eat the brain?
I don't know, like, why even risk that?
I don't know.
By the way, like,
it would be like.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I would see it as more useful, like, oh my gosh, all of our scouts got killed. What happened? And then you just like eat a little bit of them instead, and then you're like, oh, they got murdered by Chaos Space Marines. They went that way.
No, but listen to this. Could you imagine if a Space Marine actually got into a relationship? And hear me out on this. Because one of their organs allows them to spit acid. So, like, they go to make out with somebody and their head would literally melt.
I would just be like, they're so strong, you know? Like, I'd be afraid of them just breaking the small, frail lady if they're trying to do some, you know, having a good time and stuff, and just be like, oops, I completely crushed her pelvis and her oh, it's everywhere. Oh no.
Oh no,
I feel like this conversation is only going bad places.
Miranda, the voice of reason.
I'm sorry.
Well, while you two were on that topic, there were too many super chats. What would a female Count Drago sound like, and would you be willing to demonstrate?
Didn't we just say that, like,
okay.
female Space Marine would just have, like, a slightly less deep voice?
No, I know what Ranger is trying to do. He's trying to bait me into doing the same voice that I did last night. No, and it's also probably going to be, like, something silly like a TTS reference. And I can't do that Caldor Drago. I don't really like that Caldor Drago, so I apologize, but I'm not going to do that request.
Which Marine chapter is the most weeb?
Blood Angels.
So, Bishi. Is it the word?
It's either them or the Vikings, the Space Wolves, because they have neck beards.
No, they have beards, not just neck beards.
I mean, we did that video. They have neck beards.
It's not just a neckbeard though. Have you seen it when guys like shave their face but then like leave the hair like underneath? Like that's a neckbeard.
That's weird. That's disgusting.
It is
Let's stop talking about gross things. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's
I will fight you! Space wolves are not neckbeards!
These are problems Sisters of Battle don't have.
Come at me, bro!
See, this is why you don't let the untamed savages in. Alright, let's continue. Next question.
There's another super chat. Oh, just thought of a way for more Orc God. Gork and Mork fight each other, tearing off skin and blood, which form Dorka Daka and Torka Speed, and etc.
I'm okay with this. They just start beating each other off and two other gods appear. I apologize.
Beating
for nothing.
up. Yes, okay.
I didn't say anything to the
We
contrary.
have more questions, is that right?
I assume so.
There's a lot more questions.
We're getting low with you.
Alexis, you said you'd be professional.
I am professional.
I'm not the one being professional, sorry. I said I'd try and I failed.
What about Hospitalers?
I already answered that, actually.
That they're ladies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're part of the
I think
sisterhood.
I think that might have been in reference to something else before the other question. A while
Probably.
back. Yeah.
already answered.
Yeah. My question is, why do people care so much about female space?
It's because it's political. It is simply because it's political. That's it.
And you know, for specifically, like, I've watched a lot of comics and stuff that I really love die because they decided to take on this political agenda, and let me tell you, it pushes everyone else out because they don't give a shit about the political agenda. Like, I go to do like 40K stuff or like Marvel stuff to get away from politics, and then when it starts getting put in there on a one-sided opinion, and if I don't agree with it, then I'm demonized. It's like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And a lot of people feel that way, so that's why I am at least very strongly against it.
So the actual reaction of the I guess the political motivation actually has polarized you more against it than you probably would otherwise feel, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean that's a natural reaction to have, like, sort of a sense of disgust when you feel like these hobbies that you have and have enjoyed for so long, it does seem like there are outside forces that have only one reason to be there, which would be to mock and ridicule or insult what it is you do. And then once they get what they want, they leave. And that is very common. And that's probably why you have such a strong defensive mechanism against it.
Yeah, I'd almost call it like a kookaburra effect. Like, if you know what I think it's the kookaburra. Like, it's a bird that essentially it lays its eggs in other nests.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, so like when the other birds, like, it's their nest, so when a kookaburra egg hatches, they think it's their bird or their baby, so they feed it and just keep feeding it, and then they die because they can't take care of a kookaburra because it's a lot bigger. That's kind of how I see what happens when this political stuff gets in there, because the people that are very politically charged aren't really interested in, like, the medium. So they go in there making demands, and so the company's like, oh my gosh, our people want this, we need to change. And then so they do.
I don't think GW is necessarily bending to that, though.
Oh yeah, GW isn't. So I'm
The
very happy that
writers,
they're not.
maybe.
The writers kind of are, which is why I'm nervous about it.
Ah.
But
They're pretty separate, though, because they just license it out to the writers, yeah?
Yep.
and it's like, the thing about the writers is that it can be just like when Matt Ward was going around, and everyone's probably at that time like, oh my gosh, he's gonna ruin 40K and destroy it. And then now we're looking back like, huh, that was stupid. And then
Yeah.
it just gets written out.
Well, and you shouldn't be able to, like, not have some degree of political conversations based in philosophy. You're going to have that connected to all aspects of your life to some degree, but it's how you do it, again, and the reason you're there. So, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm getting off on a tangent.
Oh no, it's all good.
I'm pretty sure that's what we all do.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, GW only looks at the money.
And they've doubled in profits I just saw
Holy-
the article today.
Did you?
They're like, we're rich, so we do what we want.
Good job, GW.
That
Hell
was yeah. I saw that. I was like, "There's no way they're gonna beat the 8th edition release," and they just shot right up. I was like, "Holy cow, that's insane!"
And Plastic Sisters of Battle, I'm sure will do a very similar thing
Yeah.
for them too.
bated breath. I bet those things are gonna like be sold out. Like they're not gonna
Like,
be able to
permanently?
create
It'll be like trying to buy a new Nintendo system. You just can't get
Yeah, it'll be for a while. I think they
It'll be
won't
like
able
buying a
to
new
just-
Nintendo system, but people actually have fun with it.
Hey,
Oh, hey, I
Sounds
want a
good.
Switch. Dang it! When I get it, I'll make a new male face and everything.
there have been like super chats in here, so we should probably address those.
Yeah, there were like 2. Make human and all Eldar groups get along already? Question mark.
The Inari are kind of doing that, sort of. I mean, that booty killer man is kind of doing what his name suggests.
I think the Inari are a bunch of Mary Sues.
Look, Scruffers, you're a Mary Sue. The Inari are cool.
No.
But we're zombie elves. Isn't that awesome?
They came out of nowhere and were able to go into friggin' Slaaneash's realm just cuz.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to just fix rubric marines by being like, oh look, snap my fingers, oh look, it's okay.
Yeah.
I can do everything, I'm God's gift, and you know you've never heard of me until right now. Okay, but that's not really I'm sorry.
But
What are we talking about?
I raise you that booty. Anyway.
Professionalism, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm pulling a door. No.
Oh, I see how it is. Next question, or next super chat, or next, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is the last super chat so far. Sorry for the orc questions. Next orc question. Alexis, you came up with Dorka, god of Daka. What are everyone else's orc god ideas?
Huh.
I don't know much about orcs, to be honest. I mean, I know the basic stuff.
Porka. That sounds good.
The god of porking?
Neat.
Are you sure? It's not the god of porking. I think we can move on from that one.
Yeah.
So next question.
Yep.
Female rubric marine.
The Chaos Space Marine, sure, why not?
I mean, it's just pretty much armor at that point. If, for some reason, one of the sorcerers decides to be like, I want to stick boobies on this one, I mean, who's gonna stop them?
I'm just imagining, like, you see the sorcerer doing this, and Armin just walks in. You just do you.
We'll talk about being non-consensual. He didn't ask if the ghosty inside was okay with it.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, Chaos is quite non-consensual.
It's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
If there are things that you want to start picking apart as far as, like, respect and decency, you can go so far beyond the argument of female space marines.
Very true.
Well, let's start with Slaanesh. Alright. 300 videos later, and that wraps up the first aspect of Slaanesh. Now let's move on to the next out of 13. Anyway.
You've got seasons.
Oh my god.
Next question.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody, hello from Buenos Aires. So if the Sisters of Silence lore was meant to expand to explain the process from a young null maiden to a Sister of Silence, and then that was flushed.
I kind of wish that they were. Like, I would love a fleshed out story on the Sisters of Silence, because I really like them, and I think they're very powerful and very strong leading characters. I was actually really, really upset that they were not in the Adeptus Custodian release, and not the next codex after, and just completely forgotten about. I was actually really annoyed by that.
Yeah, I love the concept of them. I didn't get any models of them yet, but I would like to see more stuff written about them, because they were there, like, when Lehman Russ attacked Prospero, like, that whole, his fight with Magnus, like, they were there, but they weren't really talked about?
They were there, and they were the reason that he won, but at the same time, it's just like, they don't get talked about. Here's a super chat. What is the most absurd homebrew chapter? I actually think mine is the most absurd. Sons of Garrow.
I'm gonna be 100% honest here. I don't care about homebrew chapters. I think they're, like... have you ever heard someone, like a friend, being like, oh my gosh, I just wrote this original story. Could you read it? And it's, like, very simple or kind of cringy. And you're like, yeah, that's great, friend.
You guys are tearing me apart.
I'm sorry.
I don't know the lore behind your chapter, Alexis.
Neither do I.
So here is the lore of my chapter. They come from the survivors of Nathaniel Garrow when he ran away. And then from there, I left it open to my fan base to actually come up with stories for it.
Oh.
Well, that's more fun because that's like a community thing. But I'm talking about like, but someone's just sitting there like, I wanted my homebrew chapter to be this, and they have this color, and they're gonna be from this chapter. That's where they originate from. Like, I just don't pay attention to them.
Oh god, people are going on about the angry Marines. There's a dead meme that needs to die.
Oh, yeah, that actually, I think that is definitely the most absurd homebrew chapter.
That just needs to stop. Like, anybody who thinks that was a good idea or thinks that's funny and original, you guys need to get help.
Like, just please, there's an actual chapter that is better than the Angry Marines.
What are you talking about? Oh my god, these guys look cool. What are you talking about?
The Black Templars. Just look those guys up.
No, there's, like, Wikipedia has an actual article on Angry Marines. I love it.
No.
Oh, yes.
No!
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, then. The next super chat. Why have you not converted theme also Slanesh?
I think they meant them all to Slanesh. And actually, Scruffers has a Slanesh character.
I have a demonette. It is in my DeviantArt. You should look it up.
Yeah.
I'm not shilling myself right now.
Well, that gave me a frighten.
What is happening? I'm really nervous here.
Miranda, run.
I don't know where that laugh came from.
Anyway, next question.
What do you think that there could be Sisters of Battle who worship some chapters and work alongside them on the chapter world?
Read the... there's an order of sisters that actually worship, Mephiston. That's a thing. Like, that happens in the actual lore.
Mephistum, like Mephistus?
Mephiston, Lord of Blood, which is funny because...
He's a psyker.
Yeah, he is. It's funny that his name is Lord of Blood, and, like, his title is Lord of Blood, Mephiston. And Mephiston translates to Lord of Blood, so his name is Lord of Blood, Lord of Blood. Yeah. Good name there. Anyway, next question.
Next question. One moment, I lost the place. Okay, here it is. Sorry, this one has a bit of a... Okay. Also, what could be a good lore explanation for a convent of Sisters of Battle with humanistic modification?
They tried to make Space Marines?
I mean, what do they mean? Because that stuff is bog standard in 40k. Like, getting cybernetics and augmentations is kind of just common ground in 40k. The reason my Inquisitor actually stands out is because she has no augmentations. Just saying. Anyway, next one.
Okay. Oh, wasn't Gilliman beaten by Kairos?
Fate Weaver? No, I thought he pushed that nerd into the locker. Maybe? I kind of forgot. Yeah.
Alrighty. Wouldn't Sisters of Silence be immune to corruption since they are anathemas?
Nothing in 40k is immune to the corruption of chaos. Though their souls may not be corrupted, their bodies can be.
So there are examples of, like, Sisters of Silence being corrupted by chaos? Like, you can fight that?
Say what?
There are examples, then, of corrupted Sisters of Silence?
There are no examples in lore just yet.
Okay.
Though theoretically it could happen, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So I was grabbing my question. Can Necrons be corrupted?
Yes, everything can be corrupted in 40k.
Weren't they, like, even originally lore-wise? I mean, this is really a long time ago.
Chaos androids.
Yeah, they were chaos robots.
Oh, sure, why not? I mean, I think that's the other thing I'm kind of taking away from this is that, the lore was never so set in stone or heavily vetted, we'll say.
Well, that's my favorite thing about 40k is the lore is so inconsistent that it's consistent, according to the fan base.
Fair enough.
What about Warcraft orc females?
I don't know what Warcraft is.
You mean, like...
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, just World of Warcraft or the Warcraft series by Blizzard. So, I mean, that's a completely different universe and lore series you're talking about there. So
Yeah, it's not entirely relevant.
It's fine because it's always been there and it's always been fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's still kind of funny though. Female orcs in World of Warcraft are literally just green female humans with large incisors.
Nope, they have a different dance, and that makes the difference.
Oh yeah, you got me there. Completely different.
Well, I have no idea about this at all.
I have been, I definitely play World of Warcraft, so
Wow,
okay.
you
really
nerd.
I really wanted to, like, pick it up when the new expansion came out, but then it's also Star Hunter Worlds coming out. I'm like, I have to choose.
No, these are greedy hobbies. It's really hard to split your time.
It's so true, though.
Heck yeah, orcs are happy. What's better for an orc than internal unending combat?
Nothing.
Agree.
It's like the same question for Space Marines. Like, what else would make them happy except for fighting things?
Just angry spores.
Weren't orc
No, they're not
cheerleaders
angry. I guess. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. No need to apologize. Weren't orc cheerleaders just drummers in the digital version? I'm assuming of Blood Bowl.
If you look up on Google and be like, orc cheerleaders, Blood Bowl,
You will cry and get
cheerleaders will come
nightmares.
up. But it's not pleasant. That's all I'm saying.
It'll be like Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Your face will just melt. It's that bad.
Pretty much.
I actually think that's all the people calling for female Space Marines. I'm just kidding. That was bad.
That's just mean.
That's a little rude. But, like,
I'm sorry.
I know that they intentionally made that orc cheerleader thing eye-searing to be like, okay, guys, you don't know what you're asking for.
Can we talk about all the awful topless Adeptus Mechanicus things?
GW has never released a topless Adeptus a tech priest. Thank you.
I raise you Electro Priest.
Electro priests don't count.
Tops.
Shoot your face.
Rip is crap, Alexis. He's
You
great.
know,
Oh, whoa, settle down, people.
Order in the court, bang, little tiny hammer.
This is like the most polite argument I've ever been in.
Canadian arguments. Alright, next question.
Is he... I'm sorry, this is difficult for me to read. Is Daka he just made of bullet?
Yes.
I would imagine if he was like the orc god, that he'd almost okay. Have you guys played like Borderlands 2, where it's like that Marcus Munitions guy, where those people were like worshiping him, and they made like a statue of him and put like all these guns and stuff? That's how I would imagine it.
That would be amazing. Why is Greyfax best? Why can I not speak English today? Why is Greyfax best Inquisitor?
I don't
She's
think,
the coolest.
I actually don't think she's the best Inquisitor. She's just the Inquisitor that points things out. That's like
She's
really
cute,
obvious.
and that's about it.
Like, she's highly observant. I have one. I haven't played with her yet, so.
Alexis, I think we can both agree the best Inquisitor is Inquisitor Green Dress.
I hate you.
Like, if you want to say best Inquisitor, I would still say that is Gideon Ravener, whom I named my bird after.
You named your bird after an Inquisitor.
Right. Yes, his name is Gideon.
That's amazing. I like Caiaphas Cain's wife, who I only know as Caiaphas Cain's wife.
Wow, you don't even remember her name.
Next question.
Next question.
Oh! Don't forget Demon Kilaba of the. Don't forget the Demon Kilaba of the Iron Warriors. Many people kind of count this breeding slave as a female Astartes hybrid.
Yeah, we're not gonna go into Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, they're an exception.
Yeah.
They're an exception to literally everything. Doesn't matter what you argue about, they're the exception.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, but Slanesh or but Zinch. And it's just like, alright, you know what? Okay.
Then we'll just go back to the rubric in the sorcerer, where the sorcerer's like, I just feel like sticking boobs on this.
Okay. The next question.
Yep.
Would you all want to see a novel centered around the romance between Gilliman and Yvraine?
Yes! Oh my god, I would be all over that.
No, it's stupid.
Yeah, but think about it. It's like Romeo and Juliet, except a 9-foot-tall superhuman that's like a zombie, and you're
No, because it's one of the of all the Primarchs, I will never be able to see Gilliman as one wanting to go against his father's orders and like not just make friends with a bunch of aliens, but to go into bed with one of those aliens. In addition, that specific Yvraine lady I am not particularly happy with because she is a huge Mary Sue, and I do not like her at all.
Tell me how you really feel.
I am on my soapbox, you can't stop me!
Just picturing
No, I don't think they write romance well. It's usually just, it's a little painful and cringy to read.
I'm just imagining Scruffers with like a megaphone, but the megaphone isn't on and she's just yelling.
It's just backwards, so it's like yelling into my own face.
No one understands why you're shaking your fist at the clouds.
Angry text priest yells at clouds.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Do heretics prefer their cornflakes with or without milk?
Well, they're heretics, so it seems like you'd go without milk, or you'd put something gross in, like orange juice.
No.
Oh god.
They would put milk in it, but they'd put milk in first. They also put pineapple on Loyalist Astartes pizza as a practical joke.
Oh, the pettier elements that they don't talk about in the 41st millennium.
The Black Legion secretly puts pineapples on Ultramarine pizza.
Just like these horrible pranks.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, we got a super chat. But Scruffers, have you not seen my Glonin?
I have not. Tweet it to me, boyo.
You're gonna regret that.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
Also, my DMs are open if it's inappropriate or something. You can just send the picture through there.
I like how she's like. I like how she's advertising that.
I just realized that was a bad idea to say. We're just gonna cut that out of the video. Oh wait, it's a live stream.
Oh, that makes it even better.
Too late.
Alright, next one.
Just gonna drink my
All right.
water.
And okay, I gotta say this now, and this is a lot of forewarning. I think this is by far the most important question of anybody's life. Ready for this? Have you ever had a tangerine?
Moving on.
I'm sorry.
Fruit is good.
I actually
Berserker
was eating a tangerine prior to this.
A twist.
That's the next question now.
Yes.
Yes.
Coin Berserker versus Scruffers after being told that Space Wolves are weebs. Who is angrier?
Scruffers.
Ah! My fury has no bounds.
Alright, let's
Can't
just
do
roll.
anything, but I'm angry.
Let's just roll right into the next one.
Okay. Is Ninja Brain from NSP a Chaos God of Ninjas?
I have no idea what that is.
What?
Okay.
Oh. We lost a Wargamer Girl. Her power probably
no.
failed. But anyway, let's move right on as quickly as possible.
Okay, we're actually almost down to, the usual.
Alright, let's hope she
Oh,
gets
what-
back with us, but if she doesn't, well, sorry.
Guess we'll just try to continue on as is, and I think her internet cut out or something because it says she's offline.
Yeah, I think her power actually went out. My powers actually might go out too.
You guys are on the other side of the country.
Actually, she's only like a state away from you.
Ow!
Yeah, take that. Alright, roll it.
Could a task force of loyalist can we start? Could a task force of loyalist female false Astartes be credible? Not even a full company, but a task force.
No.
That would be silly.
Yeah.
Just get sisters.
Yeah, Sisters of Battle. Sisters of Silence. Done. Let's move on.
Alrighty. Next question.
Yep.
Who's on the show? Wargamer Girl, EgoqueenAlexis, and who else?
That would be
I'm
Adeptus.
Scruffers.
Hey, she's back!
Yay! But I am.
I'm on mobile, so I probably sound different. Sorry.
That is alright.
It is okay. We're wrapping up very soon anyway.
But I am Adeptus Adamaris. I am an artist for TTS and for Alexis and for quite a few other YouTubers.
You made such a cute picture of me. I appreciate it. I love it.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
love the
I am
little
on
mechanical
Twitter.
toes.
Give me an art. Oh yeah. Little puppy toe beans. Voice was cracking there, don't mind me.
The next question.
Yep.
Where is Jagatai Khan?
Underneath Kimura. Okay, let's go.
Do the Primarchs exhibit the flaws in their gene seed? Or to cut straight to the point, could Lehman Russ return as an epic giant werewolf?
I would love, absolutely love giant werewolf Russ, especially if he was still loyal.
Hell yes. I would be so down for that.
Like, all I could imagine is you just see this badass werewolf just run up and deck a demon prince in the face.
Hell yeah.
And then you just see Gilliman with a doggy treat. Come on. Come on. Oh, he's a good Lehman. Can you see Lion stand behind him? Hey, is that Oh god, it's Lehman. She starts booking it. Trips on his dress.
His luscious golden hair gets in his face and he trips.
Oh. Korax X Kurz and he won Batman and Croban?
No. Stop it. No.
That would be dumb. I think they would hate each other.
They're making the ultimate edge.
Alright, what else do we have for good questions?
This is the last question of them all.
Perfect.
Aren't most Saints in 40k female?
Yes, there is one male, and you can find this lore on my channel under Datavault 13B. You should check it out. We do a lot of really, really good lore there.
Isn't there like the commissar? Is that the one?
Yes.
He looks so cool! Oh my gosh!
But
How
anyway,
many saints are there, like, approximately, out of curiosity?
out of named saints, I think there's close to like 10. But living saints, there could be an endless number of them. Like, we don't know. That's the thing. Anyway.
I accept that answer.
I would be totally down for a model of the Imperial Guard Saint though. Because then I could get my boyfriend to use his Imperial Guard army again. Be like, look, you got the Saint, you got the dude Saint, and I got Celestine. Look, we're matching couple thing.
Lame. I love it. Anyway, I think that's all the time we have for questions, and I think we're actually going to wrap this up very soon. So, do you guys want to have a closing argument or whatever?
I mean, I think I threw out my opinion earlier on kind of what any of the argument means to me regarding female Space Marines. So, I mean, that's pretty much unchanged.
Okay. Scruffers, closing thoughts?
I think I've pretty much gone over everything. Because it's like, homebrews and fanfiction is fine. I'm more talking about like what GW says, which is, I think I said really early on the podcast, is kind of like an insult to Sisters of Battle and to women. But that's like, I'm talking business level. If you guys want to do something like lore-wise for your fan stuff, do whatever. Have fun with it. And
Which I think is something everybody here agrees with.
Yes, we do.
yeah, I think that's pretty much it. All I wanted to say.
All right.
It's just a matter of, like, you shouldn't bully a company into doing stuff they don't want to do because you have a...
Yeah, and they're technically... They're held to a higher standard when it comes to lore stuff, because it's their lore, and they lead essentially what everybody is going to be reading, and they determine everything, so that's why they should be held more accountable in comparison to just some fan that's like, I want to write about this thing because it sounds cool.
Right, they have to connect it to a more... theoretically connected to a more complicated storyline. But from the sound of it, they kind of do what they want, so, I mean, I'm gonna go halfway with you on that one.
Anyway, guys, I want to thank everybody for watching this. Are we going to do a podcast? You know what? I'm going to leave this up to either the super chat or the regular chat or the comments in the comment section down below. Would you like to see us all again in a podcast? And would you guys be interested in that?
We can talk about other clickbaity things.
I know, it'll be awesome. Anyway.
And so you can find that there's not much argument, and everybody's very civil.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except for you, Scruffers. You're crazy.
Yes, not the crazy one. Anyway, be sure to check out Wargamer Girl, her YouTube channel, her Facebook page, her Twitter. All of that should be in the link in the description down below. And be sure to check out Adeptus Adamaris. All of her information is in the description down below. Be sure to check out her art. It is absolutely amazing. Anyway, guys, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. I love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.